when you had your hands up in the back,
Yeah,
she's like, yeah, look at, she believes. She believes.
it's
He's
visualizing, you know.
But how are you, Christine?
I'm doing great. Ready to go. Almost
Let's
there.
go. Big fight coming up, December 5th, Hollywood. It
Hmm.
seems like that's your home. What do you know? What do you know about your opponent here?
My
Karina Dam.
Karina, well, I don't know a whole lot other than I know she has a jiu-jitsu gym and I think she still stays active in jiu-jitsu competitions. She's got a lot of MMA fights under her belt, but I don't think she's done any boxing. So, I never underestimate anyone. Obviously, she could be working her boxing every day, but I don't see that that would be her strong suite here. So I'm just, I'm going in there to prepared for war like always. I know she's going to be a fighter and she's going to be tough, especially with all the experience that she has.
Yeah, fair enough. She does have a lot of experience, but we'll get into that. Let's get back to you for a minute here. You burst on the scene in 2022, Knucklemania 2, I believe, against Jad Masong Wong, and that's a tough fight for a debut fighter. And you came in, you put her away, you split her down on the eyes there. It was a nasty cut. Yeah, that was a high profile win for a debut. So I feel like the BKFC right then and there knew that they had something. So what do you think? I seen a post today. They said that Christine Labusadora Vicens is the most dangerous women's fighter at 125. Now, has Christine fully, like, is she done? Is she leaving the division? I heard her say she wants 135.
I don't
Is she
know.
vacating that? Do you have any insight on that?
I do not. As far as I know, she still holds the belt at 125. I don't think she's going to retire anytime soon, but I don't know. I have no insight on that. Regardless, I know, Christine Ferreira, it is what it is. She's the champ. She's the top of the division right now. But besides her, I think I'm it. Like the next one in the division. I've beat, a lot of the toughest girls. And like you said, my debut was no piece of cake. It was no like warm up to welcome me into bare knuckle. It was a tough fight. And I think I've proven myself, since day one that I'm one of the toughest in the division.
Yeah, I think so. You got a style that's hard for some of these women to deal with. Push the pace, almost like a bully. But you come hard shots, boxing. Your boxing is crisp, but it says here too. So you made your debut in bare knuckle?
My pro debut. Yep.
Your pro debut. So, and prior to that, did you? I know you did a couple amateur boxing fights. Was that before bare knuckle?
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
my in my amateur career, I have kickboxing and boxing. I'm actually a national Golden Glove champion from 2009. That was one of the competitions I had. Boxing has always been my strength. And yeah, like you just said, I my professional debut. There was a lot going on that first fight in bare knuckle at Knucklemania. It was my professional debut. It was the first time in front of a kind of a crowd that big. It was a tough fighter, first bare knuckle fight. It was
Oh yeah, the nerves must have been peaking for that one. But you answered the bell and you made a name for yourself. And yeah, you're taking the 125 division by storm. And yeah, there has been some talk that Christine wants to move up to 135. I don't really see a division there, not yet anyway. But if she's gonna step aside, I don't know who else is left other than you. Like who would you say there was a title fight and Christine vacated the title? Who do you think deserves that fight?
well, if you look at the rankings, which I don't really agree with, I don't understand. I think Jod Masan is up there, but I beat her, like I said, on my debut fight. My first fight. I think Beck Rawlings is there. I haven't been matched up with Beck Rawlings yet. I'd say that's it for the 125. Those are, I think, the top right now, and we've all gone against the champ at some point. So
Yeah. You did pretty good against her too. You held your own. The doctors got involved or who knows how that would have went, but you definitely showed your heart out there. And
yeah, that was, there was a lot to that one. I was injured round one, so game plan had to go out the window on that fight, and it was just, survival at that point.
yeah. Well, you definitely brought the fight to her. You didn't look intimidated at all. You're training hard. I see a lot of your training videos look like a lot of it's taking place in the garage or in the backyard. Do you feel like those outside workouts Do you feel like they're more motivating?
I love those workouts. I mean, for me, I don't get me wrong, I train at the boxing gym or my MMA gym every single day. But usually my second workout is more like of a conditioning workout, and I have a lot of equipment at home. And as you know, like I've got a family, I've got my business that, I've got to be tied to the computer or making dinner for my kids. And sometimes like I have something on the stove while I'm out there doing interval training. So I got to make it happen one way or the other. So
That's a busy life. You're a businesswoman, a wife, and a fighter, which is it's kind of like the trifecta. How do your kids feel about you fighting?
well, it's all they've known. They don't know me any other way other than training and as a fighter. They've had their moments like the Ferrer fight was really hard. They were front row there and that was a little traumatizing for them. But other than that, like I use it as a teaching moment and then tell them like we don't give up, we keep going. And they train MMA, they train under coach Edgar Plazaola, another
Mm,
BKFC fighter. He's their coach at Freestyle Fighting Academy. So they're surrounded by it. They're fine and they get excited. They get a little nervous, which is obvious, but they love it.
right on. Yeah, congratulations to your boy. I see that he's upped his level. He got a next level belt
Yeah.
from Coach Edgard. So congratulations to him. That's good. You know what? Martial arts is a great teacher. It's great discipline, and I feel like all kids should be a part of it.
Yeah,
Do
absolutely.
you how do your kids, I feel like knowing what you do and the level you're doing it at, I feel like there's a lot less back talk in your house. Would that be correct? Like,
I don't know. Yeah. They go around me and sometimes and run circles. They know that yeah, I'm tough in the ring, but honestly, like I'm just I'm not as tough as I may look sometimes, inside of the ring. Outside of the sport, I've never been in a fight, like in a street fight, honestly. So, they do back talk a little bit, but sometimes, I have to get tough with them. And one time, actually, it's a funny story. They said something to me, and I was so mad, and I was like, "You saw what I did to that girl in the ring, right? I can do it if I wanted to." Try to
oh
scare them
man,
a little bit, but
damn.
they're all right.
So you have two boys?
Yeah, two boys, and they're a year apart, so you can imagine it's just nonstop fighting all day.
What's the age group?
They're 8 and 9.
8 and 9. Okay, so still pretty young.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's excellent, man. It's good that you're able to balance everything, still pursue your fighting career. You're obviously passionate about that. And it's funny too because like I know when you debuted, they said, "Okay, it's your debut fight." Like how do they say it when it's like your combat sports debut? So I'm like, combat sports debut. That always sparks my interest when I'm like, "Oh, they're making their debut for combat in bare knuckle." Like that's you got to be a different breed for that. But like you said, you were into boxing, kickboxing first, which is I couldn't find anything. Normally, I could find people's careers prior, and I couldn't find anything on that. But I did see some of your footage where you're throwing kicks, and I was like, oh, well, she's training more than just boxing too.
Yeah,
Would you?
and I've been training MMA. I wanted to make my debut in amateur MMA prior to going pro and fighting bare knuckle. I was training with Coach Plazaola, training for my first MMA fight, but I couldn't get a bout because apparently they would hear about my boxing experience as like, national Golden Glove champ and being a little bit older in the sport. There was just nobody that wanted to get matched up. So that's where I said, okay, I'm just gonna go pro. And then bare knuckle came about.
Let's go. So, how did you get introduced to bare knuckle?
It was through my management team. My manager, Aldo Espinosa from El Toro Loco MMA, he just approached me. He's been at our gym for years now, and he knew that I was one of the active fighters back in the day, and I was still training really hard. I'm looking for a fight. At that point, like I said, I was looking for an amateur MMA fight, and he presented the opportunity. He had made the connections with Bkfc and told me, hey, your boxing is good. Do you want to go ahead and fight bare knuckle? And I didn't understand what that meant at the moment. I hadn't ever seen it before. I was like, well, I've never been in a bare knuckle fight, but I'm always up for a challenge, and it's hard for me to say no. And once I say no, I don't back down. So I was like, I'll give it a shot. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, you've looked good. Like I said, your career's been pretty flawless. Like minus the Christine fight, but I felt you did really well in that fight. I was impressed. But yeah, you went through a couple of these girls. Your last fight, you were supposed to fight, I believe, Sarah Click. And then what happened? How come she dropped out?
I have no idea. They didn't tell me what exactly happened. I think it was something with medicals that she didn't pass something on medicals. I got a few days notice. The only option I had was Jenny Savage, and I thank her for stepping up because it would have really sucked after all that training to not have a fight. But yeah, she stepped in there with me, and she's a good fighter. She's Jenny Savage has always had great boxing. I understand she was out of camp, but then again, I know she had like a fight like a month before that also scheduled. So it was at the end of the day, it was a good matchup, and kudos for her for coming in and saving the day.
Yeah, and she's a big name too. Like she's had some good fights. She's got a good record.
Yeah.
So props to her for stepping in. You took it to her though. You took it to her. You I don't want to I got to watch my words, but you beat her pretty badly. I thought anyway. So I'm excited to see you in this next one. This Karina Dam though. So yeah, she does have a lot of MMA experience. She actually was supposed to fight Valentina Shevchenko actually on two separate occasions, and they fell through. She's been in there with Jessica Evil Eye, who's on the roster now too. I don't know if she fights at 125, but where do you see if say a win on the fifth? Where does that put you? Do you think you're in title contention?
I think so. I think I still stay as one of the top contenders for the title. And whether, like we said, whether it's a rematch with Ferreira or whatever happens at that point with the belt, I hope to be one of those that are considered for the next matchup to be a champion.
Yeah, I think your name's definitely got to be in the mix. You've done enough, and especially if you get another finish December, it's going to be hard to deny. And I seen some of your backyard training footage. Actually, your husband did a real good job on the commentary. When you had your hands up in the back,
Yeah,
yeah, look at she believes, she believes.
it's
He's
visualizing. We get
That's right.
at the Freestyle Fine Academy, Master Marcos, man, he drills that into us, that black belt psychology. Like it's already done. You got to see it. You got to visualize it. After every training session, Coach Edgar and I, we're putting our hands up in the air. We won the battle.
Let's go. I love Edgard Plazola too. By the way, he's who doesn't, right? He's a great he's a great personality in the sport. I feel like he deserves a title shot too. Both of you guys, El Toro Loco's got something special. There might be something in the meat over there because all his fighters seem to be, El Gallo Duran too. You guys are just some of my favorites. So
Yeah, there's absolutely something in that food. It's great.
yeah, there is. The last time I made it out, I actually missed out on making it there. So I wanted to ask you, what do I get? What's what's the entree I need? If we put together an appetizer, then an entree for his and hers. So for me and my wife, what should we order?
It depends what you're into, but I mean, everything there is so good. I mean, my family personally, we love seafood, so we start with like the tuna tartare and the octopus, the grilled octopus. Sometimes we get pork belly also. And then for my entree, I like the entraña.
What's that? What does that even mean?
Entraña. I don't even know how it translates into English, honestly, but it's just so soft and it's delicious. I like my meat medium rare. I'll either do entraña or like filet mignon to keep it a little bit leaner. My kids do the picanha or the lamb chops. Honestly, you can't go wrong with anything there. It's all delicious.
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually gonna have my 5-year-old daughter with me too. We're coming out. We're coming to see you fight.
Oh, awesome.
I was I was showing her some of your fights. I said, "This is Christine. I'm talking to her tomorrow. She's fighting." So
I hope you
I don't know. Hopefully they don't.
Yeah, hopefully I
Yeah,
can say hi, take a picture.
yeah, that would be awesome. I don't know how people are gonna like. She's only 5, bringing her to a bare knuckle fight. I don't know if I'm a good dad or you know what I mean. There might be speculation otherwise after this.
Oh, yeah, I deal with that all the time. I get it.
When you go to these events, it's like a family affair, though. The fighters have their kids supporting. You see a lot of kids in the crowd, so
Yeah,
at least I'm not the only one.
yeah, and you talk to them and you use it for a positive. Like I said, as long as you're talking to them and you're showing them this is it's not just random violence. Like this is a sport. These people are training for this, and you just have to use it in a way that is positive.
Yeah. You know what? The lines are even blurred for me because like it's fist fighting, This fist fighting is now a sport and I love it. I love it more than any other. All the other sports are immediately obsolete
Yep,
because fist fighting is the most fun to watch.
it's the most exciting. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is. So let's get a little bit deeper into your home life. I noticed you guys got a dog,
Yep.
and I seen some bird cages in the back too, and during your training session.
Yeah.
What kind of birds do you have?
Well, I have some African grays, a pair of African grays, and then we got some little sun cheeks as well. That's my husband's little project with the birds. I've got a Doe Argentino that my manager Aldo from El Toro Loco actually gave me after one of the fights because my prior dog had passed away. So after one of the fights, after one of the wins, he said, "Here, you want a new puppy?" And gave me a Doe Argentino, and I also got a little toy poodle.
Oh, nice.
I got
Yeah,
chickens too. I really need a farm at this point.
so the that white dog is that's a sorry, Ugo, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Argentino?
Yep.
Okay, okay. I wasn't sure because a lot of these dogs look similar. I have a breed of pit bull that looks a little bit similar,
Mhm.
but I noticed that yours looks a bit bigger than mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dogo. That sounds about right. African grays, those are nice birds too. They talk a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. They do.
I used to have one too. I used back in the cordless phone days. It would do all three different phones, so you always thought the phone was ringing.
Oh my gosh, they're funny.
So okay. So how do you stay motivated with that, with everything else you got going on? You know, your career, your mother. Like, how do you just does that motivate you? Does that make you angrier sometimes when you just put the dishes aside and roll up those sleeves? Is okay? It's time to train.
No, I'm not motivated by anger with what I do. I guess I'm motivated because I'm just so, I guess, goal oriented. I love challenges. It's always been like that for me. And once I set my eyes on something, I just don't know how to deviate from that. Like I can't move on until I hit that goal. And I said, I'm gonna fight bare knuckle. I'm gonna be the best at it. I want to be the champion one day. I promised my kids I would bring home a belt one day. So every day, I mean, besides the other endeavors that I have in my life, this is something that is for me. My business is, of course, it's for me also, but it's for my legacy, for my family, for the bills. It's for a future for my family. But this here is something I've done on a personal level that just makes me a better person, makes me happier. If I don't train, I'm bitter. I'm just in a bad mood. There's some days that my husband's like, please go train, please go hit something. I'm like, go. I do it because I love it and I'm driven, to do it. And like it's not just motivation, it's discipline. Like I said, I'm not motivated to do this every day. I want to stay in. My kids are on Thanksgiving break and husband's out like riding bike and doing fun stuff with them. And I wish I was there, but I know that, I have another goal right now. So it's discipline that keeps me in line right now.
Yeah, discipline. I guess discipline definitely is the key.
Hmm.
And if you're gonna be champion, I guess you can't just be riding bikes all day, right?
Yeah.
But what about your husband? Like I said, he seems like a big supporter of yours. Does he ever corner you? Does he ever come in your corner?
No, he does. He's a huge supporter. Since he met me, he's known that I've been a fighter. Bare knuckle was something that I took on, obviously, more recently. It's not his favorite in the aspect of he doesn't like to get see me get hurt. And bare knuckle is very it's a tough sport. It's not just boxing with gloves. So there's always something, bruising and whatnot. But he sees how much I love it. He sees and he understands why I do it. But it's my thing, and he knows it's my thing. And he's not a fighter. He's an athlete. He's played basketball his life, but he's not a fighter. So he's not cornering me, but he's there supporting me throughout the way.
Right on. La Busadora. Does that translate to the abuser? Is that correct?
It does.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that, but it makes sense. And you are abusing some of these ladies, especially when you put them in the clinch. Your clinch game is really good. So you must do a lot of practice on that clinch work.
I do at FFA. It's an MMA gym. We practice that clinch a lot, and I love it. I love using the clinch. I love boxing as well, but I somehow always end up in the clinch, and I guess that's where I just feel more comfortable. I'll try to avoid it a little bit more, with bare knuckle, just because you're within such close proximity that you can obviously receive a lot of punches as well. But like I said, I feel comfortable there. So either way, whether I'm boxing or clinching, I feel comfortable.
Right on. So yeah, you got the boxing background. What made you initially get into fighting?
Um, it was never part of my plan, that's for sure. So at FFA, at my MMA gym, there's a women only fitness boot camp. that is within the same facility, and I started there just to get in shape when I was, I think I was like 19 or 20. I was in college. I just wanted to get in shape, and then they had like a cardio kickboxing class, and I thought it was so much fun that I actually wanted to learn more of it. And then I jumped over to like the more technical kickboxing class at that same gym. And again, I really liked it. They saw I was good and they offered me to compete for the first time. They told me I should go and do a competition. And I guess it was just like it awoke something within me, that competition, and I really liked it and kept, that was it. Like it was over from there. I wanted to do more competitions. And even, gosh, even 5 years ago, like when I said yes to fighting my first bare knuckle fight, I didn't ever think this was going to be my future. I didn't ever think I was going to be a professional. It was like, okay, sure, I'll do one more, sure, I'll test it. And here I am, and I'm like 20 years into martial arts, and I came to the realization that this is it. Like, yeah, I'm going to be a pro. I'm going to be the best at it. And I just realized that, a few years ago. And I guess behind that is just being a woman in the sport, being a mother. You have a certain future that you've imagined for yourself since you're young. I'm going to make a career. I'm going to be a housewife. I'm going to do certain things. I'm going to be a professional, but never did I think my future would look like this. And it took, a lot of reflecting to come to terms with it.
Well, good for you. I'm glad to see you out there. I can't wait to see you go again too. I'm gonna tell my wife, you know what? You think the dishes are hard. You might have to get in the ring. Like,
Yep.
I'm gonna tell her too. I'll be like, you know what? Her kids are so well behaved now, so I'll get her on it.
Don't
And
get me wrong, this is hard, but man, being a wife, a mother, that's just as hard in different ways. There are days
oh,
that
for sure.
I'd rather be fighting and training than working the household.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. Your company, you guys mostly, it's a construction company. Do you guys do mostly new builds?
Mostly commercial work, commercial interiors. It's
Oh, okay.
called Virtue Construction, and we do a lot of commercial work, interior remodels. I mean, I have the capacity. I've done additions and things like that, but mostly medical offices, a UPS store, office and retail interiors.
So how did you get into that? Because even that, you don't see a lot of a lot of women in construction these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not me, anyway.
I studied architecture. Since
Mm.
I was little, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an architect. Studied architecture at FIU over here, but I graduated in 2008, and it was right smack in the middle of the recession, where firms were closing down, construction was at an all-time low, just like real estate. And at that point, I ended up I had always worked in the medical field while I was studying for architecture. So I went back to that and started studying. I said, you know what? Like I'm gonna get my GC license. I started working with another contractor. And at the end of the day, I ended up fusing like my experience together. I got my GC license, and working in the medical field, I made the connections to start doing construction and remodels at the medical centers. And it just went from there.
Wow. So yeah, you do it all. You got it. That's a pretty fulfilling life with fighting aside. We could probably just talk about construction, and
Yeah,
there's probably enough to talk about.
it's a lot of
So
work.
yeah, interesting person too. And another thing, I seen you like I didn't really understand this, but I see you do this plasma therapy where it looked like they were taking blood. Like what does that entail?
The like PRF with the plasma on my face.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it looked like they were taking vials out of your arm first, and then they were giving you injections.
yeah. So that's it's called PRP or PRF, and they draw blood and they put it into a machine that separates the plasma from the blood cells. Use that plasma to put it on your skin, on your face in this case, where they'll either inject it or put it superficially, and it just helps to like restore collagen and beautify.
Oh, so
It's like
it's
a facial. Yeah, that's an aesthetic procedure. They
okay.
do it for your joints as well, which I've done where they'll inject it like if you have knee pain, elbow pain, they'll inject the plasma into that site because it stimulates for your body's recovery system to come in and heal that specific place that you're injecting.
Interesting. Yeah, that was kind of foreign to me. So I just, I was like, I gotta ask because I don't know. I'm not understanding the connection between the blood and that's what's on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just out of my element. But anyway, so we talked about you getting into fighting. What fighters inspired you? Do you have any fighters you look up to? Maybe another, maybe boxing or MMA?
Uh, Fighters I look up to. Well, like women, as far as like women in the sport, you got to talk about Gina Carano. She was one of the ones that I would hear about, when I was first starting in MMA. Just one of those pioneers for women's sports. But actively, I look up to, man, my teammate, Coach Edgar. He's awesome. He's a great partner to train with. He's been through the journey with me, and he has an undefeated MMA record, as well. So I look up to him as a fighter, as a person. Master Marcos, who's taught us both at the Freestyle Fighting Academy. Those are guys I really look up to in the sport.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, Edgard seems to really got his head on his shoulders. You are also a believer, Jesus Christ, as Edgard's a
Amen.
firm believer as well. Is that something that's always been a part of your life?
Yes, I thankfully, I was raised a Christian. Like anything else, you have your ups, your downs, and it takes it's a personal journey for each person. And even with this sport, now that you're talking on that, like it was something hard to come to terms with. Like, it's such a violent sport. Like I was telling you that a few years ago is where I said, okay, like why is it that God has aligned my path in this way where I'm bare knuckle fighter? Like it's so out of at school, my kids go to a Christian in school and they're like, that's a bare knuckle fighter. And it's kind of cool, like they all respect that. But as far as on a personal level, I did have to ask God, like, why am I doing the right thing? Like, why did you put me here? And something that I guess I experienced is that, like, yes, like this is my platform. Everyone's platform is different. The fight fans, they got to hear about Jesus too. And if it's that moment that I can glorify him in the ring after a victory or on a post online, while just worship him. People see that, and it's a message that translates to other people that might not have heard about the word otherwise. And that's from my realization with this.
Yeah, and you know what I will say is there's a lot of believers in the BKFC.
Hmm.
Like everybody gives it up, praises God, rightfully so. And it's something that I've actually kind of drawn myself closer to too. I'm like, wow, all these fighters are, they're believers. And that it gives me like I'm like, I want to talk about it. I want to bring it up because I'm also Christian Catholic. So, but yeah, it's kind of strange that all these I'm starting to think God likes bare knuckle fighting. He does.
I see the same thing.
Everybody says their prayers. They pray for their opponent. It's like honestly, there's a lot of talk, but the respect and it's pretty deep too. Like everybody, when the fight's over, it's all respect. People are praying for their opponents. It's a beautiful thing. It's a
It
beautiful thing.
is.
So yeah, I did see that in your profile, and I was like, okay, I'm messaging her right away.
It is.
She's a believer of God too. I love that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and honestly, like with every decision that I make, and even with every fight that I say yes to, I ask God to just guide me in that. Like He knows best for me, and if it's something I need to do, then let it be. And if He doesn't want it for me, then close the doors. I consult with my Lord every time I have to make a big decision like that.
Amen. Amen. We're blessed, Christine. We're blessed
Amen. We are.
to be here. I'm losing my train of thought now. What was I going to ask you next? I forgot. I had something good too. Anyway, moving on. So anyway, we're coming up on Christmas. I know you're a mom. There's added pressure. You got your fight December 5th, but there's also what Santa's bringing this year. Do you have all your Christmas shopping done, or is that something you're prepping after the fight?
After the fight. Right now, everything is at a standstill until December 5th. After that, I'll worry about the Christmas gifts. I mean, I did start my Christmas decorating early, but it was way early. It was Thanksgiving. I was like, I'm taking it now. It's now or never. Either like we do it now or wait until December 5th.
Yeah, I hear you. I just got my stuff up this weekend. My daughter's been pressuring me for weeks now, but I'm glad it's out of its way. But hey, maybe it's a good year for gift cards for you because you got something more important. And Christmas is coming early for me. I get to come out there and see you fight live in Miami. I'm from Canada, so it's getting super cold here.
Yeah, I figured when you said something about eight. I heard,
Did I?
yeah, at the beginning, you're
I
like,
I'm,
oh, hey. I was like, oh,
I'm even typing it. I can't escape it. It's part of me.
man, my sister-in-law's in Canada.
Oh yeah, whereabouts?
Near Burlington.
Okay, I'm real close to there.
Oh yeah, and then the one of the owners of the gym, she's from it's not Vancouver, Montreal, I think it is.
Okay, that I'm not too sure where
Oh
that
no, no,
is.
I'm sorry, it's Ottawa. Yeah,
Ottawa.
she's
Okay.
from Ottawa.
Ottawa. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have any Cuban? What do you do for Christmas? Like anything like from your Cuban heritage that you implement?
We make lechon.
Lechon?
Yeah, Nochebuena. So we celebrate Nochebuena, which is the night before. It's Christmas Eve.
Okay.
Yeah, Christmas Day is like okay, we open presents, but it's not really a big as big of a deal as than the previous night, Nochebuena. And usually we do the caja china. I don't know if it's like the big smoker box where we put the pig in that we roast
Oh,
for dinner.
okay.
Yeah,
That
so
sounds good.
yeah, it's awesome. We get the whole pig and we put it in the caja china, and that's what we do on Christmas Eve. We have a nice dinner.
Right on. So do you watch any bare knuckle fights?
Yeah, absolutely. I watch them. Like I saw the Juggernaut fight last week, or if like there's some girls on the card or someone that I really want to watch, I'm watching it. Yeah,
What'd you think of that Juggernaut fight?
man, that there were several fights on that card where it was like turned around. You know, you expect one thing, you think someone's getting beat, and then all of a sudden they come in with like one big lucky punch and turned it around, and it's over.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
was exciting.
yeah, yeah, it was definitely exciting to watch.
Yeah, it was a good card. What about, did you catch the Cody Vidal David Simpson fight on that one?
I did. Yes. I think that's the other one that I was like, okay, this guy's done. And I think there was like a second left in the round, and he came back and took it.
That's right. Hey, that's BKFC for you.
Yep.
You can't beat it. Can't beat it.
Yes.
What about your card? Is there any fights on your card that you kind of want to make sure to maybe catch from the dressing room, or maybe when your fight's over? What's the top matchup on that one that excites you?
Oh man, Palomino. Louis
Oh yeah,
Baboon. We have the same coach, the same boxing coach, Coach Maha. He's a great coach right now. He's been working with me, with him, with Pete. He's also on the card, and I can't wait to see Palomino win. You know, he's been working really hard. I think he's made a lot of changes, positive changes that are gonna really give him a different outcome this fight. So I'm not gonna miss that one.
let's go. Yeah, that's I'm gonna be excited for that one too. Trout, like the first fight was unreal. It was razor close. They gave Trout the decision on that one, but Palomino is undefeated at 155. So there's another little aspect to this fight. We'll see how it goes. I can't wait to see that one too. I'm with you. I feel like that one's probably it's the main event for a reason, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So are you still training leading up to your fight, or yeah, you're
Yeah,
still
yeah,
on
I'm
crunch
still
time?
training. Yeah, it starts toning down midweek towards the end of the week, which happens to fall on, around Thanksgiving. So, and next week is just working on, just moving around and finishing losing a few pounds for the weigh-ins. Yeah, the hardest part is already done.
Yeah, you know what? Dieting through Thanksgiving could be tough too. I'm sorry to bring that up, but I'm assuming that you might have to say no to a few pies and
Oh, yeah.
all that good stuff. So I apologize for bringing that up
Yep.
because that's going to be tough.
I have to bring my own little meal with me to Thanksgiving dinner.
Let's go. What about post fight? Do you have any rituals you do after the fight? Is it right to El Toro Loco, or is there maybe like a sweet you like?
Well, after weigh-ins, it's a Toro Loco, definitely. And after fighting, I go and I celebrate at a Toro Loco again with my family. Sweets, I love my sweets. I'm a big like ice cream and brownies, or ice cream and cookies person. So that's something I'm definitely looking forward to.
Let's go. I'm looking forward to it too. But anyway, we'll just talk about things that are more important than that. So Freestyle Fight Academy under Edgard, were you training with Edgard prior to the BKFC, or was that something that happened afterwards?
No, yeah, we've been training prior. I've been at that gym for almost 20 years now. Yeah, I've been there a very long time, and Coach Edgard has been there maybe I think like 15 years. So we've been training together for a long time. And like I said, he was training me prior. Like he was my MMA coach. I was doing his classes for MMA. Once we started doing bare knuckle, we started training together right away for bare knuckle. We're the two bare knuckle fighters at the gym.
Let's go. Yeah, you're gonna have some I don't know. I think maybe those titles need to be hung at El Toro Loco. They need some. The owner seems like he's all over the BKFC. He's, you know what I mean. He seems like a big guy there. You know, he's like head honcho when you see him there. Who do you have you had any time with El Gallo Duran?
Well, a little bit of interaction here and there. I know he's not one of the fighters managed by El Toro Loco, but he's sponsored by El Toro Loco. So yeah, I've obviously, like, during the fights we've been on the same card a couple of times, and I see him around. Very good guy. He's another Cuban in the sport, and like I said, he's sponsored by El Toro Loco. So
Yeah, you could tell because El Toro Loco's got that nicest walkout gear.
yeah,
It's elaborate. It's nice. It's right away. As soon as I started watching Bare Knuckle, I was like, El Toro Loco, what's that? Like, what is that? What's this? But yeah, eventually I figured out. Well, oh, it's a steakhouse, but they're really in depth. They really put on for their fighters. It seems like. Do you know? Do you have a walkout outfit picked out for this one?
I
Are
do.
we going with the Wonder Woman style?
No, not Wonder Woman style. It's a different style, but I'm really excited about it. You'll see it on December 5th.
Let's go. What about walkout song? Are we sticking with the same one, or are we doing something different this time?
Something different. I like a different song every time, and I'm always thinking about what song I want to walk out to, and it always ends up being like a Christian song, a Brandon Lake song, or something. It really gets me going, and it reminds me of my purpose, and what I'm gonna do in there, and who I've got in my corner. I
Let's
got
go.
Jesus and the Lord in my corner, and that really gets me pumped.
I hear you. And I get fired up when I hear a Christian song, somebody walking out to it. I was like, okay, let's go. Because, yeah, it's deeper. It's deeper than just fighting out here. And it's good to see quality individuals, nice human beings, people that are believers, people that put family first, not just, like the back and forth and the ugliness and I hate you, I'm going to kill you, this and that. I like when the fight's over, shaking hands, no bad blood. Have you had any interactions in the BKFC with someone that maybe you don't like?
No, I mean, it's really hard for me not to like somebody, honestly. Like, unless you're really saying something about me. Like, don't get me wrong, Christine Ferreira, last for the leading up to the fight, I guess it was like a marketing thing and trying to sell the fight. She made a comment about like me being a mother, and like almost like, what are you doing fighting? You go take care of your kids and do the dishes. So that did sting, but it motivated me even more, because the funny thing is, like, she sees it like maybe she's not training so hard because she's being a mom and a wife. But to me, like, the way I think about it, despite being a mother, despite being a wife, despite having all this responsibility, I want this so bad that I'm carving out and doing whatever it takes to be able to step up into the ring with her and be a number one contender in this sport. So that's what I don't think people are seeing. They're like, she's got so much on her plate, she's so busy. Like, regardless of that, despite all that, like, I'm still here, and that shows you the kind of person that I am and the kind of discipline that I have.
Most definitely. And you carve out that time frame. Like I said, I see you working out in the backyard, in the garage. It doesn't matter where you are. You're disciplined. There's a lot of distractions at home
Mhm.
for anybody to do anything, right? You know what? I don't feel like doing that today. And that, you know what? It looks kind of dark out. So for you to go outside and make it happen, no matter where you are, I feel like that's a strong discipline in itself, right?
Yeah, it's easy when you're all of your time goes into doing this, and this is the only responsibility that you have to be a fighter. It's easy, honestly. But when you've got everything else to juggle and you still do this and you're still at the top of your game, that's where it's really, true colors come out, and that's where it's a challenge.
Yeah, no doubt. So anyway, out of the fight ring, you and your husband, when you guys are together, do you guys obviously you can't talk fights all the time. What do you guys watch any sports? Is there like a show that you guys are into?
Um, we watch like boxing if there's a big fight, or like bare knuckle, something like that. Otherwise, we don't watch a whole lot of sports other than fighting. TV shows, I don't have a lot of time for TV, but like half an hour before falling asleep, he'll put something on. We're watching, I think, Landman now. Um,
Aha, me too. Let's go.
yeah, yeah, I like that one. Yeah, otherwise, like, my husband and I, we're foodies. We like to go out and eat. So date night for us is a nice dinner.
Right on. What about drinking? No drinking?
I once in a blue moon, I'll have a drink. Honestly, I have not. I stopped like months ago. It's been months since I've had a drink. I just haven't wanted to. After my, after my win, and now with the holiday, I'm sure I'll have like a glass of wine or a drink, on just for a special occasion. But it's not something that really interests me. It's not something I do a lot.
Yeah, right on. It's overrated. You don't need that, champ.
Yeah,
You don't need none of that.
I feel perfect without it.
That's it. Just need some red meat. That's it.
Yep,
That's the key to happiness.
and some ice cream and cookies.
Okay, we can do some ice cream and cookies too. Okay, so anyway, you're fired up. You're ready to go, Karina. Damn, I don't know if she knows what she's walking into, and I was thinking this too. I'm like, she probably thinks, you've had some bare knuckle fights. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I don't know. Bare knuckle's different, right? It's different. I feel like boxing reigns supreme. Bare knuckle, MMA, it's helpful for good clinch work, but I feel like you're going to dominate her in the clinch. I know she's coming from an MMA background, but I don't really know what the best path for victory for her would be.
Yeah,
How do you see this fight playing out in terms of, are you looking to stay on the outside? Are you going to implement your clinch? Is there anything that you're worried about her bringing?
I think she's gonna try to clinch. I don't know what her boxing looks like. I know she doesn't have any boxing fights or any like solely boxing experience. So I think the best thing for her will be to try to come out and grab me. It's probably more familiar to her since she does some of the groundwork and MMA. But like I said, I'm ready for it. Like the clinch game, that's where I feel most comfortable. I'm also ready to box her from the outside. Ideally, I want to take less damage. So if I could stay on the outside, that's going to be game plan one.
Right on. What do you think your biggest strengths are when you get in the ring?
My experience, first off, it's something new, and first fight, you always have that intimidation of like, what is it going to feel like to throw that first bare knuckle punch? What are my hands going to feel like? So experience is important. And also knowing like I've gone toe to toe with the toughest, not only in the 125 division, but she went against a 145er right now, a natural 145er. Um, I went toe to toe with the toughest girl in the division. Like, there's nothing right now that will really scare me or that I'd be afraid to come up against. So my experience is the first thing that I have behind me.
Yeah, that's hard to disagree with, and definitely like being in there with Christine has definitely that's definitely caused some growth for sure. Anybody who's fought her, she's like you said, she's pretty much the goat of women BKFC. She's been doing it a long time. She's hard to I don't she's lost once, but I think that was maybe it was her third fight, but I don't even remember that really. Like that's so long ago that she's a tough puzzle to solve. And yeah, I feel like being in there with her is definitely going to give you a little bit of an advantage, especially against somebody who's a debut fighter.
Yeah. I mean, besides that, I've been working my boxing. I changed boxing coaches after that Ferreira fight. Like I said, I'm now training with Luis Palomino's coach, Baboon's coach, and I think my boxing has just really gone up to the next level. So I'm excited to showcase that. Last fight in the summer, I didn't get to do too much of it. It was a first round finish, but I'm just a lot more confident right now in what I can do with my footwork and my hands.
Right on. So when you came into the BKFC, you had a couple fights in 2022, and then we didn't see you for 2023. What happened there? Why the layoff?
Well, I told you I was training for like a year trying to get my MMA debut. I think 2022 was my kickboxing fight with 305 fights. And after that, I wanted to have my first MMA fight. And I literally, like, I trained for about a year saying, okay, next event, next local event is coming up. They're going to match me up. And then I was like, okay, no, we didn't get anybody to fight you. And then next event coming up in 3 months, keep training. No, we didn't get a matchup. So it was just
Mm.
like, until I said, okay, forget it. Let's go pro. The opportunity presented itself at the same time. And oh wait, I'm sorry, you're talking 2022 BKFC.
After yeah, I think you had two bare knuckle fights 2022, and then we didn't see you till 2024, I believe.
Yes,
Summer,
yes, yes.
June, I
That
believe.
was after. So I had finger surgery.
Mm.
Small surgery on my fingers. And that summer, I wanted to go to Spain with my kids. So I had like a whole European vacation with my family, and they didn't. And I wanted to fight locally. I wanted for them to come back to Hollywood so I could have my family's support here. So that's why it just ended up being a long lapse of time between fights.
Okay. Yeah, all your fights have been out of the Hard Rock.
Mhm.
Is that your preference, or is there anywhere you'd like to fight outside of Florida?
Well, I love fighting at the Hard Rock for the obvious reason that I have my friends, my families, my kids, my husband, my mom, dad. Everybody gets to see me fight here locally. I have El Toro Loco, the whole team. Like we fill that arena with people, local fans when we're out there, and it's not and it's great. It's great to hear them chant your name and just supporting you. So I love fighting locally. I'm open to fighting outside also. You know, there's a lot of new locations opening up. Italy is a beautiful place. So if that presents itself one day, yeah, I'll look for it.
Let's go. Yeah, Italy. Who doesn't want to fight in Italy?
Yeah.
But you know what? Hard Rock, Hollywood, Florida, I will say they put on some of the best cards for BKFC. They have so much Florida talent with bare knuckle fighters
Hmm.
from, you know, Clearwater, yada, yada, yada. There's just so many fighters out of Florida that the
Yeah.
cards are unreal.
And we have a
They're
big
unreal.
yeah, we have a Latin community out here and they love seeing other Latin fighters, so they always come out to support.
Yeah, just in big names, big name fighters, right? So I can't wait to come out for another one. This will be my third one at the Hard Rock. So
Awesome.
that goes to show. I don't know how many I've been in total, but I definitely don't want to miss the Hard Rock cards because I don't want to be biased. Philly's starting to do something too, but the Hard Rock to me, it's kind of the home of the BKFC.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's gonna be awesome, and I think well, if you're bringing your daughter, I think the Hard Rock is doing like a big Christmas thing with the lights outside and the guitars.
Oh,
So
amazing.
yeah, it'll be a nice little time for your daughter as well.
Right on. Okay, I won't keep you too much longer, but I did want to ask you about some equipment you've been using. One of your sponsors, I believe, Title. It looks like it's got the water in it. But what's the benefit from obviously it's probably good for balance,
Yeah,
but
they're not
how
a sponsor. It's an affiliate, that I'm working with. But I looked into them because last fight or two fights ago, it was a strength and conditioning place where they had one, and they would have me do like rotational work and ab workouts with it, and I was like, man, this is pretty cool. And then I traveled with my kids last year in the summer, and I wanted to have something, a piece of equipment with me that I could do some weight training with, and it's super easy to take with you because you fold it up and then once you're there you fill it with water and air. And now they came out with this hydro vest where you put it on your back and you could use it again for rotational work. A lot of the baseball players use it, boxers use it, and it throws you off balance. Like you throw a punch and all of a sudden you're like trying to catch your balance. It gives you a more realistic feel, like someone grabbing on you trying to push you down, or you get rocked with a punch, you're trying to fight back. So it's a really good tool for instability training and just working the core and rotational strength.
yeah, it looked super interesting,
Mhm.
and I can see how that could help with balance and all that stuff. Yeah, we'll see. I might have to pick up some of that. It looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. I'll keep my eye out for some of that Title. Are they the only ones that do that? I've never heard of that before.
They're the only ones I've seen, yeah. And like I said, it's great for traveling. I packed it in my suitcase, and once I was there, I like filled it up, and the one I have, you could fill up to 70 pounds. It's a different one than the one I wore on my back. So I was doing like lunges, squats, overhead press. You could do whatever you want with it.
Let's go. Well, Christine, you look like you're ready to go. I can't wait to see you in action. December 5th. Let's go. Woo! Thank you for having me on. But before I go, who do you want to shout out? You want to shout out some sponsors?
Yes, thank you to El Toro Loco MMA and to KNUCKLE. They've been with me through this journey. They're awesome, sponsors and a great management team. Freestyle Fighting Academy, Coach Maha, he's my boxing coach. They're great, and I wouldn't do this without him. And my Lord and my Savior, who has really like aligned my path to be here fighting for this promotion. And I gotta say my kids and my husband, because without them, I wouldn't have the support, and they make it all happen.
Let's go. You got to mention the kids and the family. It's a family channel, baby.
Yep.
Bare knuckle fighting, it's a family channel.
It's a huge sacrifice on their part. So, I'm glad.
Yeah, no doubt. But hey, I'm sure you're their hero, and rightfully so.
And if not, I
Christine,
hope they recognize it one day and be like, man, my mom was really cool.
yeah, they will. They're gonna see the discipline it takes, you know what I mean? And hey, it all starts with the man above, like you said. So you're obviously a great role model to have as a mother, a wife, and a fighter. Let's go.
Thank
Let's go. I can't wait to see you, Hard Rock. Christine, thanks for coming with me tonight. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Best of luck to you.
Thank you, thank you. I hope to see you
And I
there.
hope your opponent shows up for you because you look like you're ready to go. I'm already knocked wood. We're good. She's gonna be there. She's already at the Hard Rock. Don't worry. We're good.
All right.
We're good. She's ready to take that ass whooping. Sorry, Karina, but I don't. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Take care, Christine. Great meeting you.
All right. Likewise. See you there.
See you there.
Bye.
Bye.